Almost tripping on a fucking rock. That would have been embarrassing. Let's see if I want to see if I can get the squirrel pop out. So, these nuts, because I have another bag of these. And I'm going to see if I can get the little guy to come hang out. Oh. Dude, these crows are showing up now that they know I'm dropping the nuts. They're over here. Yep, there they are. Right there. Convenient how they showed up shortly after I started dropping all those. They know. They know. Where'd he go? Where'd little Zukof's furry ass go? Zooks, where'd you go? Zukof. Where are you? Zukof. Zukof. Oh, there he is. Hey, dude. Zukof. Hey, get back here. Hey. Hey. What are you doing? Excuse me. Yoink. Get back over here. You goober. Look at you. You're a ridiculous dude. You're a ridiculous dog. Oh. Hey, get away from my tender. Hey. Just pulling up some music, all the good stuff. All the good fun stuff. Bada boom, bada boom. Man, this is so fucking, like, ugh. Man, this fucking parchment paper, bro. Does this help? It doesn't. Oh, kind of. There we go. That's the only pork bun you got. It's the only one you get. Plus whatever's left of this. Just took a chomp in that, like, bun, dude. Chomping down on them buns. Love it. It was probably disappointed, with it, but $6-7. Well, that's $67 straight for groceries and food, so that's good. Still better $15 than Alabama's given. I mean, I'm sure it probably has to do with some other qualification aspects and other shit, but either way, yeah, it's kind of lame. I mean, around here for like an individual, like a food cart can be between like $100 to $200, but it just kind of depends on like your income and different things like that, and your like your social status. So if you're like disabled, then you would get more, but if you weren't like, then you wouldn't get as much. So there's it. In Oregon, at least, it's a little bit more based off of like your conditions and like the broader status that you're in. So, like, I guess Oregon's at least better about it. It needs to be funded more and shit, and frankly expanded. But dude, this dog wants my tenders. Gave me a total breakdown of it and paperwork when I got it. Well, yeah, I'm sure there's like a whole breakdown to it. Your mom makes 4 times as much as you, so that's what's so. So, they equate her income into it as well. Wow. I feel like something's in my fucking eye. I do not like it. Hold on. I guess that's why he's being a harasser today. That's why you were harassing Mike. Whoa! Ooh. Oh, thank goodness that didn't break. Oh, thank goodness that didn't break and rice went everywhere. That would have been bad. In Egypt, for this month, you only get 42 for January. It still rolls over and refills tomorrow, so I have $100 in grocery in February. Oh, so there's rollover? That's good, at least. So whatever you don't use will eventually kind of roll over, and be able to, have a little bit more for the next time. I'm pretty sure Oregon has it like that as well, too, which is good. I like that. Everything should just be considered rollover with things like that. Use them or lose them. And that's really stupid. It should be like, I mean, I can understand maybe having like a max limit on rollover, but I mean, because if someone's using only like half of their food stamps every month and it keeps rolling over and shit, I could kind of get maybe either having a limit or even maybe reducing, the SNAP and shit for those type of instances. But like usually it's because of other variables like, oh yeah, they got better income, so they're, got more money in their pocket, so they're not using the EBT as much and stuff like that. But usually there's already things kind of taken into account for that. Like usually if your income is adjusted, usually like things like SNAP benefits, stuff like that automatically adjust with that. So it normally shouldn't really have to be an issue, but I don't know. Like, obviously, it's state by state, so I don't know like how every state does it. More. Oh my god! You need water too? Jesus. And this dog laid the gnarliest fucking turd earlier when I got him on a walk. But I grabbed some lunch and walk his ass. Oh my god, dude. He laid down like just some horrible shit. I'm gonna try to access my veggies. So you got like teriyaki stir fry like going on. You got like stir fried teriyaki veggies. Like not every fucking thing that has like that like not every single thing that teriyaki's in is gross. You know that, right? It's just that it has its place. Like any seasoning. Or I guess really any sauce. Sesame Street icon Elmo asked how everyone is doing on social media, and tens of thousands of users unloaded their emotional baggage. Man, low-key, fuck you, MSNBC or NBC for that headline, and for two, damn poor Elmo. Elmo gets existential depression. I'm proud of myself, finally made an ounce last month. Nice. Nice. Let's see what type of things going on for today for Tube. Let's see what things are happening today. Let's see here. Doesn't really seem like there's like too much in disapprove. Disapprove. It's a Wednesday. How's there nothing going on? Oh shit, there's actually a recently uploaded Humans Report vid. Talked about your favorite locale in the lead up to the last gauntlet. What, the warm-up? What, the warm-up to, like, the gauntlet? I didn't watch the full prelude because I was kind of doing this a little bit, so I wasn't really checking it out too much. But I was kind of listening to, like, the first half of it, but I didn't get to that point. It was mostly just Paul bitching at TJ for not having headphones. By the way, the gauntlet was pretty hilarious. There was a lot of guest appearances, like, Jacques Leflanche. Kyle Kalinske made an appearance too. And, and many others I can't even fucking remember. We talked about maybe getting into low content. Is Paul thinking about getting back into it? Chicken tendy. Good old chicken tendies. At least tell me your food tastes, at least except chicken tenders. Unless you're trying to dedicate to locales, making bank off of them. Well, yeah. That's also, I mean, if you think about part of the reason why they went to more specific streaming type of content, too. Because that also makes a lot of bank. So... Hell, the locale in question himself was making $2,000 a month in super chats. I mean, who is the locale in question? I mean, just you could just name drop him. I mean, who is it? Is it Chris Chan? Is it fucking Brett Kane? Oh, it can't be Brett Kane. Like, is it that Jared kid or whatever the fuck, or that Jared weirdo, or like, is it Dark Side Phil? King Cobra? Is that the Jared dude? King Cobra's Jared, right? Is that or is that somebody else? See, I don't pay attention to it that much, but Chris Chan makes a good bit too. Oh, you know what? Actually, I just remembered, dude. Guess what I found on Etsy? I found Chris Chan's fucking Etsy, and he, like, dude, they actually sell shit there. Like, you can unironically get a Sonichu medallion on Etsy. I fucking shit you not. I am not kidding at all. And I was kind of shocked because I was just kind of perusing around. I think I was looking up, like, I want to look up, like, I don't know, some stickers, or whatever to kind of add to, like my gun locker and things like that. And just kind of stick them around town and shit like that. Like, I like getting stickers for that reason. That's why I have these. So next time I go to the bar, I can plaster these around. So, but I was just kind of perusing and I saw like something that said like Sonichu medallion or whatever. I was like, did someone make this in honor or whatever? And I was like, here, let me click on it and see. And I saw the shop and I was like, wait a minute. Like Christian shop or something like that. And I was like, click that. And it was unironically fucking straight up Christian. Like in their shop. And I was like, what? I was genuinely shocked at that. Gorba's an autistic kid. Jared's a PDF. Okay, so see, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't pay attention to all these locales, so I don't know who's who. Call Cobra a kid because he has a mental state of 16-year-old at 32. Oof. That's why I call it oof. Just a little bit. Really, dog? Damn mutt. You got free delivery 5-gallon vodka bottles recently. It's been hitting it hard. Ooh. That's sad funny. It's not really that funny in my opinion, honestly. That's just an oof. See, this is why I can't get into locales, dude. Because, like, when I start learning any tiny little detail about their ass and about, like, what, in a way, the internet's kind of, like, making them do for views and clicks and all sort of shit, it's just, like, it just doesn't make me feel good. It's like, I mean, I get, like, I don't know, I there is, like, a sense of morbid curiosity, but it's just, like, I mean, to see it at, like, the root source, so to speak, is just, like, oh god. I'd rather look at, from a distance, as, like, more of, like, somebody, like, talking about the broader thing, like, kind of third party instead of, like, looking at it myself. Since I want dick pics to chicks and he ain't a good fella. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, most of these people aren't really good. They're not exactly, like, socially acclimated to society. Like, I mean, that's kind of, but I mean, to a certain extent, is it, like, inherently their fault? I don't know. I don't pay attention to these motherfuckers. I'm sure for some of them, there is a degree of that. And I'm sure that definitely is that guy's fault for sure. Yeah, I mean, you don't have, you could literally be a basement dweller and still know that you probably shouldn't be doing that all the time. Or really at all, especially if it's unwarranted. So, I mean, yeah. Definitely not good. That's an oof. But still, it's like, I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's like, really, arguably maybe like every party is wrong in some way, shape, or form into it, but still, it's why it don't make me feel good. It's just like, it's just all around, just like, oof. It just kind of, because I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where like it has like kind of like a lot of this like kind of philosophical, psychological like kind of aspect to it that I want to like hella deep dive into, but it's like, ugh, my brain ain't really ready for that right now. So whatever. Gender relations a lot. Gender relations. What, like about trans people and stuff? What does he like freak out about people being trans or something? No, men and women don't get along. Oh, I'm pretty sure that person probably doesn't got that much room to talk about that. Men and women are going to divorce and become two different societies? What? That's fucking whack, dude. No society has been able to function like that. I mean, nor I think one exists. I don't think there is one that does exist like that. Where, like, there is, like, a strict, like, segregation of men and women in society. Where there might as well be two separate societies. Like, that, it's never really been a thing. When he gets blackout drunk, he tries to explain it. Oh, God. I mean, I know I go on, especially, on my night streams after work and stuff like that. I know I go on, like, you know, like my cross-faded, partially drunk, high as fuck, rants and shit. But at least I understand what I'm saying still. At least I'm still somewhat cogent, even though I might, like, slip up occasionally, but whatever. It's like, I mean, at least you can still understand broadly what I'm talking about. I can't even imagine that. Basically, sex becomes transactional. Which it isn't unless you make it that way. See, this is why I hate these fucking weird, like, mano stereotypes, dude. Like, they just think everything's, like, essentialist and an absolute and a black and white, and it's either this or that, and it's nothing else in between. It's like, give me a fucking break, man. I mean, it really just basically, like, it's basically just trying to, like, explain their fucking insecurities and their gripe on society as, being like, oh, this is how things ought to work. So it can cater to my, insecurities and my problems of not getting laid and having somebody and shit, because I'm a piece of shit, basically. It's just like, give me a break, man. Sam explains Snape from Harry Potter and breaking down crying because it touched him emotionally. At least behavior-wise, he just doesn't take care of himself and no one wants that. He actually isn't an incel. Well, I mean, he's a part of the manosphere community. I'm not really saying just incels when I'm making these complaints, but I mean, still. They kind of overlap a lot. And also, I mean, I guess, like, whatever. He got touched emotionally by a character. I mean, over Snape, though, okay, whatever. But, I mean, I've been touched pretty emotionally by fucking movies and stuff. I'm pretty sure there's been times where I've been, like, touched emotionally by watching scenes because of, like, how moving they are and stuff like that. I mean, I know, like, I've shown my emotions on stream before. I don't really inherently think that's a problem. I don't really think that's a bad thing inherently, but it's like, but oh my good lord, I just see this. I mean, it's part of the reason why I don't delve into shit, because, like, on one hand, it's like I, could see, like, the empathy, with, like, someone like this in a sense, or at least, empathize, to an extent. But at the same rate, it's also like, like, yeah, it's probably done some fucked up shit, and it's probably not a cool dude. So I don't know. It's just the end of Halo Reach. It still brings tears to my eye. You die, but you take a lot of them with you. You ain't a real man unless you cried. When Arthur Morgan dies in Red Dead Redemption 2. Not even gonna lie, dude. I fucking broke down balling a little bit low key when I died in that game. I was just like, bruh. I knew it was coming, but I was just like, bruh. I was like, bruh. Like this. I was just sitting there like, so that's how it is. And then it's just epilogue, and I'm like, fuck. I was just like, fuck. I had to like sit there and pause and just sit there and be like, fuck, dude. Straight up. I just sat there and I was like, fuck. I think I came in here, took a hit, and just contemplated the shit for a minute. I was just like, damn. Like, and Rockstar, hit it off good with that shit. Like, when I sat here, smoked a bowl, and contemplated a fucking game character, bro, I was like, damn. And I know I wasn't the only one. I mean, it's kind of like a meme, essentially. Like, like, most gamers have pretty much had very similar, experiences. And Mass Effect is another. Yeah. And, yeah, Greenfield. Yeah, that's another. What's another one? I know for, like, some gamers, like, Ghoststein and MW2's, their moment, but for me, that's, not really. Where you don't lose any of your characters is emotionally moving. Oh, yeah, where they're all still alive. I mean, for me, it's like emotionally moving, and I'm like, fuck yeah, man. It's kind of like, it's like a Tears of Joy almost. It's like, fuck yeah. That Zuckerberg clone. Yep. Yeah, where everyone's all there, huddled up, ready to take him out. Yeah, dude, it's kind of like it's kind of like fucking A-Team shit, Those Tears of Joy of just like, fucking A, man. I mean, you are right. I would say it's emotional, but for different reasons. And if there are tears of joy. But it's more like a, because it just kind of feels like, everyone beat all the odds and we're able to come out on the top. You know what I'm saying? It's just like us. I mean, they all kind of did. Though I will admit, like, any of the other ones where one of them dies, like whether it's Franklin, Trevor, or Michael, like, all of those are kind of emotional too. Especially with Trevor, because he literally gets scorched and burnt alive. Like, his is the most brutal of them all, and I'm just like, it's just like, oh my god. It's just like, fuck, bro. Ghost was a good game. People just want more Black Ops. Well, the reason why people want more Black Ops because it was actually a pretty good story. I fell off of Call of Duty, by Black Ops 2, to be honest. So when Call of Duty Ghosts and all the other iterations of Call of Duty came out, I didn't play any of those. The last one I got into was Modern Warfare 2019. And then I fell off of it again after they just went nothing but Warzone, Fortnite aesthetic shit. After that, I'm just like, fuck this. Fell off after Ghost. So he kind of fell out a little bit after I did. Came back for World War II. Well, I have that game now because my my brother gave it to me as a gift, and I played some of it. I don't know, man. I grew up playing World at War, dude. That shit, like, dude, some elements about that game are actually kind of fucking scary. Like, legit scary. Like, I mean, especially when it came to the fucking Pacific campaign, when those, like, bonsai charges would happen out of nowhere. Like, that, sometimes I'd legit get jumped by that. I'd be like, oh, fuck. At least with those first few gameplays. After you played it enough times, it comes up and happens. And after that, you just look online to look for fun Easter eggs and shit. And after a while, I started doing that. Dude, that fucking World at War is just like, it's just fucking top tier. And it introduced zombies, too. It's a fine shooter, but I felt like World at War Censored Edition. For World War II, yeah, I don't know. Like, honestly, it really just didn't stand up that well. And also, for a game called Call of Duty World War II, where the fuck is the Pacific, Eastern campaigns? Where's like an Africa campaign? It was just basically like an American Western Europe campaign. That was it. That's not like, I mean, they could have called the name something a little different. Like, you know, Call of Duty Normandy or some shit. I don't fucking know. I mean, you know, like, I mean, they should have called it something else, to be honest. Like, because if it was Call of Duty World War II, they should have added some more campaigns or something. Did Medal of Honor do all the fronts in various games? I think so. I know they had Airborne and like another one and what else? They had a couple. Yeah, Medal of Honor, I think, started off doing a bunch of World War II games. So, yeah, I remember that distinctly. Pacific Assault. Yeah, there was Pacific Assault. There was Airborne, which is like, you know, mostly like, you know, Mediterranean European campaign shit. You know, honestly, I've played that game a couple times, you know, since growing up, and honestly, looking back at it, it's a little bit of a goofy game, but it's still fun. It's still a pretty fun game to play. A Paratrooper one. Yeah, that was Medal of Honor Airborne. Yeah, it's the one I'm talking about. It's the one I mentioned a couple times. But it's a good one. It's a little goofy, but it's a good one. The last mission, honestly, in that game is legit kind of hard as fuck. Even to this day, like, it's actually kind of difficult. Because you get, like, those Super Trooper motherfuckers, you know, that are, like, ridiculous, you know, donk fucking hard to kill and shit. It's like, man, fuck them bitches. Fuck those bitches. They were tough. Like, you had to, like, you know, basically be equipped with the right shit to fucking, you know, murk them bitches. And if you ran out of ammo and everything else, good fucking luck. I vaguely remember one set in the Russian front. I vaguely do too. I don't know what it was called. Maybe just Eastern Front or Medal of Honor Stalingrad. I don't know what it was called. But World War II into the battle where you lined up the first guy, get gun, next guy, ammo battle. I think that was Call of Duty. Like, I think that was a Call of Duty game. And that's about what I remember the most. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Yeah, well, that was a Call of Duty game, but it wasn't. World at War. That was another one. Wasn't that like the third one or some shit? I distinctly remember that. I thought that was a COD game. Was it? I think it was. Okay, now all right. I'm looking this up. I don't remember. Because it was like crossing the Volga, right? Like. Yeah, I think it was Call of Duty. Yeah, Call of Duty Finest Hour, yeah. Yeah, it was. See? Yeah, I was right. Yeah, it was Call of Duty. See? Yeah, and this is the scene. Yeah, I'll just kind of skip. Yeah, this is it, yeah. Because this is where you walk up and... vividly this was, Oh, I guess we kind of skipped the part where he... Yeah. They should remaster this, honestly. Leave most of it all the same, but just, like, remaster it. But yeah, that's what you're remembering. But yeah, this is one of the missions in the Finest Hour. First mission of the USSR campaign. Yeah, because I remember they had like a British one too. I think this game also had like a British campaign and like an American one too. Had more heart and story to them. They did, honestly. Like, you know, I distinctly remember playing this too. And honestly, yeah, like, dude, it was definitely, you know, like, honestly had like more heart and shit to it. That's for sure. I mean, also, it wasn't like heavily corporatized. And even though, yeah, they were like corporate companies and shit at that point, they weren't really like completely gobbled up by like the amalgamation of mass consumerism yet. that still exists are lazy now. Look at well, it's not that they're lazy; it's that a lot of them either retired, got complicit, or rose up to the top and now run those companies and now are there for the money and don't give a fuck anymore. So I mean, like that's kind of really what the unfortunate outcome of it is. Because frankly, I mean, I feel like we just like I mean, a lot of people complain about the current Call of Duty campaign right now being pretty fucking shitty because like it really just kind of spat in the eye of like kind of this whole like new timeline that they've been doing with it, and people wanted more out of it. It's like one of the biggest critiques is it's like they kind of liked where the story was kind of going, but it's just that it's basically just like almost like action hero movie bullshit. Like it's not really like a developed story of any real merit. Like it almost kind of feels like like the sequels in a way, from Star Wars, in my opinion. Like as like the first Modern Warfare was actually all right. Like it was pretty decent. Like because it actually kind of held to that merit a little bit, like what I'm talking about. But then the second one came out, and it really got hit because everyone liked Warzone from the first one and like some of the cool like anime aesthetics on the skins and guns and shit. So they really started amping that up. And now with the third one, it's like basically just like a more like high quality version of the graphics of Fortnite, and it's like oof, cringe. And the stories for the campaign or the story for the campaigns just get worse and worse. Sukov, hey. VA had balls of brains to make an FPS Command Conquer universe. They had 3 timelines. Regular Tiberian generals they had plenty to work with. To gobble the right nuts, it could get came back. It's EA, dude. You're asking for too much. Like the assets slash like the licensing or title of like in the ownership of that whole franchise would have to be like bought by somebody else. Been a American dream, but hey, you wouldn't be the only one though. Zukov, holy fucking god, dude, Zooks, Zukov. Zukov, dude, hey! Bro! Oh my god. There's actually a petition for that one? Oh wait, it's like a Blizzard making another RTS Roadcraft. Oh. Oh my... Dude! Shut the fuck up! Bro! Do you mind? You big butt? Bam! Holy shambolies! Are you good? I like how now it's totally shutting the hell up, now that, he's out. Wait, you wanted to just get out of the garage, or the laundry room, is that what you wanted? You want to get out of the laundry room? Here. Sit over here. No, sit over here, come on. You're not in trouble, just get over there. Fucking goofball. Blizzard banned StarCraft because World of Warcraft designs more devs for updating. Because it's what makes, the money. Like, I mean, there's still a bunch of money to be made off of it by people that play the fucking game. So, if you wanted to go away, honestly, hope that they continue to mass dump a bunch of bullshit on it, to the point where people get sick of it. Because I'm kind of hoping that happens with Call of Duty, honestly, a lot of these fucking franchises, because it really needs to just be a fucking revamp, on, like, kind of the gaming franchise side of things. We need new franchises. We need new things. Like, I mean, I want, like, War of Rights or some shit to become, like, more of a franchise. Like, the fucking big MMO, like, game where it's like, you're fighting on the, north or the southern side of things. I mean, make that a franchise where it's like you make other different like games, based around it. Or like the dev team that makes fucking Verdun and Steinberg and shit. Have them make, have them get big or something. Remaster My Childhood, New Blood after that. Well, I mean, maybe some of these, rising star companies can maybe buy some of the, fucking franchises. Just to eat that up. They already have, there's already a game like that exists. It's War of Rights. Where it's like, you can fight, on the, Union side or the Confederate side and like big, fat, gigantic maps and, Napoleonic Wars from, Warband, from Mountain Blade Warband. It's basically that, but with some upgrades. And into Civil War. So, it's been in early access in forever, though. Is it really still in early access? I honestly thought it was... really? Yeah. Oh my god. Well, more of a reason to get it more money. Imagine if they made a World War I game, dude. Like, that'd be fucking insane. Made a horrible Civil War game for the 360. That wasn't just for the 360. That was kind of like for, the PC too and shit. And oh yeah. It was bad. Confederate campaign is not beatable due to a glitch. I wonder if that was intentional. That'd be funny if that was purposely intentional. Yeah, thought you could beat the Confederate campaign? Well, fuck you, damn racist piece of shit. You don't get to beat it. Because you're the one who got beat. That would be kind of funny. Could have 1 and 2 of the games to get me. They should. They should make like another game based around the Knights of the Old Republic. Not necessarily like in the style of like the original like Knights of the Old Republic games, but just like in that timeline, in that era. I think that would be pretty cool. Like, they should have like some FPS like fucking shooter where you play as like some soldier for the Republic, like, fighting the Sith and shit. Like, I think that'd be pretty fucking cool. Honestly, there needs to be more like first-person shooter-based games where you're not like a Jedi or some shit in the Star Wars universe. They need more games based around that, honestly. Like, because what if I want to like, what if I want to like be what's it like having to fight and do all this other shit as like just some random person, in the Star Wars universe. I guess like Battlefront is kind of like that a little bit, but it's not exactly what I'm talking about. Check this out. What's this? Joshua Graham and Kira debate God existence. It's an AI. Ooh, really? Huh? Sukov, dude, come on. Vocal boy today.
Exists, Kreia. I felt his presence, his guidance. Even when I was cast into the Grand Canyon aflame, he was there. He does not abandon us, even in our darkest hour.
Ah, Joshua, it seems we once again dance on the same fault line of thought. But tell me, was your God present when you served Caesar, when you sowed chaos and death?
Indeed he was, but he was not endorsing my actions. He was waiting patiently for me to see the error of my ways. His presence does not validate our actions, but invites us to choose the...
Wait a minute, hold on. Oh shit, there's a fallacy. Like, God is omnipotent. Like, he can see, your whole life before you were even gestated in the womb, right? That's a big thing that Christians like to push a lot. And with Joshua Graham, a lot of his faith comes from Christianity. I mean, if you after the game and everything, in the Elders Zion DLC, like at the end of it, if you finish with him and stuff like that, you actually can find a Bible, or it's just called, I think, the book or some shit like that. And if you look on it, it has a cross on it, so it's implied that it's the Bible. So you can tell that that's basically directly where he gets his faith from. So we're just meant to expect those. Well, yeah. But also, I just find it interesting he says that, because, why would God wait patiently when he already knows you're going to be going through these turmoils and judgment? He's already judging you. He's already made that judgment call and shit, because he knows that you're going to go through those trials, so to speak. Which I guess, Graham admits, but still, I like Krea's rebuttal.
Path of righteousness.
A convenient perspective, no doubt. Yet it seems to me that your God is either impotent or indifferent. If he had the power to stop your atrocities and did not, then he is complicit. If he lacked the power, then he is impotent.
You mistake his patience for indifference, his mercy for complicity. God gave us free will, Krea.
Oh God, here we go. Oh boy.
Choice to do good.
Determinism versus free will, the old classic.
Ours. Our mistakes are not a reflection of his nature, but of our own.
This free will you speak of, it is merely the illusion of choice. For if your God is omniscient, if he knows the outcome of our choices, then are we truly free? Or are we merely puppets, dancing on the strings of predestination?
Knowing the path of...
Damn.
Gave us free will, the government took it away.
Oh my God. What type of fucking weird chuckle fuck libertarian joke is that?
Forcing the path are not the same, Krea. God's knowledge does not strip us of our agency. We are free to choose, even if he knows our choices.
An intriguing paradox, yet it does not absolve your God. If he is good, if he is just, then why does he permit suffering? Why does he allow innocence to be caught in the crossfires of our choices?
Suffering is not an act of God, but a consequence of our actions. We live in a fallen world, Krea. A world marred by sin, by greed, by pride. But God offers us a way out, a path to redemption.
Okay, well, alright. I get it. It's these two characters getting, pretty much, talking it out. But this is basically just an atheist versus a Christian. Or an atheist versus a religious person, debating each other. I mean, I've heard these, I know, the AI is, kind of, this is an AI-generated thing. But... yeah, the voices are actually really well done, to be honest. It does sound honestly, it's different clips, from the games that they're from, just taken out of context, is spliced in a way to where it sounds like they're actually talking to each other. I mean, I will admit, it's really impressive, but really, it's just basically does God exist, argument, basically, back and forth, just, with these two as, the characters who are making the argument back and forth to each other. This one's better.
Joshua, you...
Oh, another one? Consequences and honor. Isn't a God argument. Alright. Well, probably won't play the entire thing, but we'll at least check
honor
it.
As if it is a beacon of unwavering light. But each action, even the most virtuous, casts a shadow. Each choice, no matter how well-meaning, can echo in the force, yielding both good and ill.
Yet, honor, Krea, is not a beacon, but a compass. It may not dispel all shadows, but it guides us towards righteousness. The path may be steep and treacherous, but if it leads towards goodness, isn't it worth the travel?
Goodness, righteousness, honor. These are noble pursuits, but they are often seen through subjective lenses. What one perceives as right, another may see as a path towards devastation. Look to the Jedi and their war against the Mandalorians, a righteous cause, yet it led to pain, suffering, and the rise of the Sith.
A painful truth, yet one that illustrates the necessity
I kind of like how it's implied that Joshua Graham actually knows about that.
of standing against evil, no matter the cost. As difficult as it may be, isn't it our duty to confront the darkness, to stand up for those who cannot defend themselves?
And therein lies the dichotomy of such noble pursuits. When does the sacrifice outweigh the cause? When does the means justify the end? The Jedi believed they were safeguarding the galaxy, yet in their zeal, they unknowingly played into the hands of the Sith, causing greater harm. Their righteousness became their downfall.
True, Kreia. One cannot ignore the potential for unforeseen consequences. Yet we cannot let fear of what might be paralyze us. Should we stand by and allow darkness to prevail because we fear the echo of our actions?
I caution you, Joshua. Determination can quickly become obsession. Righteousness can morph into fanaticism. Our intentions may be
Which Joshua Graham happens to be.
pure, but the
I should agree with Josh there. Well, honestly, I mean, in a way, I kind of agree with both of them.
path to ruin is often paved with good intentions. Balance.
I mean,
is
because
key.
honestly, I'd argue that both, both perspectives here are kind of like valid to an extent. Like that, I agree with Kara again. Yeah, the thing is, I think it's because they're both making kind of different valid points, and if anything, there's probably more of like a centerline idea to this. It's like, because basically, I guess, in a sense, like a middle ground, to this would be like, it's good to have like, virtuous and like, like honorable intentions and stuff, but you also have to like, consider, what consequences may potentially come from that. And you want to like, at least, try to consider and mitigate, whatever negatives that may come from, said consequences if, if you were able to, basically do a sacrifice, so to speak, to a better cause in a sense. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like a give and take, in a sense. But it kind of depends on what that, virtue is, so to speak, too. When it comes to history, it's not to annoy you too much. Well, it'll be interesting to at least check out. Let's kind of double dabble in a bit. Just one Palpatine, he's basically egomaniac while she deconstructs him. Oh shit. Yeah, just show me that one next time. But I've been putting the pin on this. I want to check this out.
We are choosing who's going in and out of the event. I'm sorry.
Why are you choosing us not to go in when we have an invite?
Right, you specifically singled us out.
That's racist. Is it because we have hijabs?
I'm happy to talk to
So it is.
someone else.
It is because
Work free Wednesday. Yeah, it is indeed.
that's clearly. I was afraid of this.
You
That's crazy.
singled
That's
us out
not.
of everybody. What?
Isn't that against Democrats?
Women.
The whole
singled us
campaign. That's very Islamophobic. That's very racist.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm just what in the fuck is he wearing, dude? He looks like some weird supervillain stooge. He looks like a butler to like some supervillain. It's like, we're sorry that you cannot be in our supervillain facility, for you look like one of the enemy. No. Excuse me, you must leave. Oh my god, dude, his legs are literal toothpicks. Holy shit. Oh my god. Dude, the more I look at this guy, the more he's annoying. The more he annoys me, dude. Holy shit. Oh my lord.
Are you?
It's like, are you? Yeah. It's like, are you honestly sorry? It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I singled you out because you're basically, some brown people, and that makes me uncomfortable because you're all like icky, so get the fuck out of here. Oh my god, the more I look at the guy, the more I was gonna get annoyed, dude. Holy shit. The urge to slap him silly is really strong.
That was a snippet of a viral video recorded in Las Vegas.
Oh god damn, dude, look at that plaid, dude. Fucking hella nice fit, dude. Digging the fit. Kinda got my own plaid going on. My gift from Texas that they sent me, but I couldn't bring back because my bag was literally way too full. It's now it finally arrived, so now I got one of my flannel over.
January 27th, outside.
I guess this isn't really actually plaid. This is like some other design, but whatever. I like it.
And featuring Vice President Kamala Harris. And as you just saw, 2 Muslim women wearing hijabs were denied entry despite having RSVP'd for the event in advance, which then prompted CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, to issue a press statement asking why 2 Muslim women were conspicuously barred from the event. And that led to Biden's rapid response director, Ammar Moussa, writing this on Twitter. Quote, "These individuals were among the group of people not allowed to attend Saturday's event after previously disrupting and shutting down events with Democratic elected officials."
How do they know that? So, like, what, are they tracking them down and, like, looking at, like, their names and, like, looking up their background and shit? Like, I mean, how would they know that? They're just people with reservations. Like, for all intents and purposes, they're basically just like, some ticket number, that's reserved. Like, they're not like, so that kind of implies they're like kind of following them around or something, or at least online to kind of see what their, activities are. And I mean, that's, given benefit of doubt if they do that, or at least have in the past. And you know what? Who gives a shit? Isn't that like the whole idea of the First Amendment, right? So to speak? Like, freedom to protest, and freedom to express yourself and shit in a public, forum, which this would be.
Here's the problem. That was not explained to them outside of the event, and it should have been, which then prompted them and other attendees to just assume that they were being racially profiled. Let's watch.
Oh no, not this guy again.
We have
You're
an
part of
invite.
the LGBT community too, right? And you're still gonna kick us out?
Come on through.
Are you serious?
That's crazy. Wow. Now I really won't vote for her.
Yeah, I would feel the same way. It's like, yeah, no, really definitely gonna vote for you guys. Fuck you. I mean, honestly, yeah. I wonder why, so many people feel disenfranchised with this fucking party. Yeah, because, like, even when they come into these events to show up, they're getting fucking, like, spat in the eye. Be like, oh, no, you're not allowed.
And then harass. That's crazy.
Can they come in? They were already.
He just like, can they, dude, other people here are like, yo, can they come in? Why are you not letting them in? And all he does is just lower his head and just kind of slouches around. Dude, what a fucking coward, bro. It's like, I mean, it's like on one hand, I know he was just told this. It's like, oh yeah, don't let them in. Just whatever you do, just make sure they're not allowed. That was probably, he was probably just like, telephoned information like that or whatever the fuck. And now he just has to like, do that. And, now it just makes him, look like more of a piece of shit than he already is. So it's like, I mean, good Lord. I mean, I don't really feel too bad because, like, I mean, he could, suck it up and get fired and, get some other job just to be like, all right, you know what, fuck them for wanting to kick you out here. I'll let you guys in. Whatever. I might get fired for it, but I don't care. It's like you could just, let them through. Deal with the consequences of that later. Like, because honestly, I would imagine the consequences of this are worse, and I guarantee you the guy probably got fired anyway for this. So it probably would have just been better to just, like, I don't know, let them through. Dickbag.
It is,
Yes,
because
it is.
why isn't it? We have an invitation.
We're out of
No, here, don't come up with excuses because
You
I.
are a black woman and you're coming up with excuses
I'm not
for
coming
racism
up-
as well.
I didn't.
Yes,
I
you
didn't
did.
give you an excuse.
You
I'm
just
letting
said that
you
we're
know.
not being
I'm letting you
discriminated,
know
but
that
when
you.
clearly are.
I'm letting you know that you've been disinvited from the event.
Yeah, not a great look.
Disinvited, just like on whim. Just like, yeah, we just invite you on whim. Yeah, we know you bought tickets, to be, have reservations here, but fuck you anyway.
But before anyone got an actual explanation, that clip right there garnered more than 1 million views on Twitter. Not a great look for the Biden administration, who is currently struggling to win back Arab American voters. And the worst...
And really just kind of voters across the board at this point. Like, between the border, the genocide in Palestine, now this, and a bunch of other shit, I mean, it's like, he's pretty much trying to set himself up to lose at this rate, and it's just...
is that all of this could have been avoided. They could have just given them the reason why they were disinvited, or better yet, just not disinvited them at all. Just let them in regardless, and if they protest, because guess what? They have a right to vocalize...
Deschedule weed, for Christ's sakes, is a win-win. Yeah, because honestly, there's even conservatives and Republicans that smoke hella fucking weed, and, it's like, so even that would, like, be able to cross party lines to a certain extent. I mean, like, there are so many different things that he could do with executive order that could actually, be somewhat worth a fuck that can use to just, like slam down with a sledgehammer on people's faces with ad campaigns over for, but, like, we're not even getting that. It's just like, I mean, it's like, it really does pretty much seem like a sense of, like, just setting themselves up for failure. Because even in response to this whole border issue, it's like, I want Congress to pass a bill so I can pretty much immediately shut down the border and give Republicans what they want on this issue, essentially. And Republicans are like, well, fuck you, we don't want to give you that win, even though it's not a win. It's still right-wing as fuck, but okay. So it's like, I mean, like, so no matter, like, pretty much on any of these, like, major fucking issues that even he's supposed to like be better on. He really isn't. I mean, so it's like it can easily be using different executive orders with different abilities, to just push some other shit. Even if he's still going to be doing all these other things. Use the hammer on Obama for being a kingmaker. Yeah, they called him like the executive order in chief or some shit. Yeah, yeah. And now they're hammering on Biden to use executive orders. I know, man. It's just like, what the fuck? And, it's like, even back like when Obamacare was being pushed through and shit, they had a hoopla because like Obama looked at Romney Care, basically was like, I'm going to do that. Yes. And then they're like, no, it has your name on it. Boo. Yeah. And now they're pretty much doing the same thing with this whole border thing. Cause they basically like has their name on it. And plus it doesn't give us legal justification to like gun down whoever the fuck gets near the border. So fuck you. Boo. Like it pretty much is like that like, I mean, it's because of those two metrics, they don't like it. It's like, even though it's like a fucking sloppy little hand job for them on this issue. I mean, it's like, even with the whole, situation in Texas, it's like, he doesn't really seem like he's doing that much to it. I mean, Abbott sure shit making it clear that, he ain't gonna do anything to it. And it seems like, Biden's like, well, okay. Anyway, here's like a little handout that I guess you still don't like anyway. And you're going to sabotage regardless because you don't like me, so. It's like, fucking hell. Now there's a bill addressed and they go silent. Yeah, and honestly, the way it's would be addressed, with the bill isn't even really good. But it's like, yeah. And, like they do because they don't want to be perceived as giving Biden a W. Like, they basically, like some of these, MAGA chud type of Republicans want to get rid of Mike Johnson because he had the audacity to try to, say, we should have a bipartisan bill on this. So, like, I mean, they had the, so because, like, now they hate him now because his love, was only lasting for, like, 2 seconds now. They can't make their mind up with these, fucking House speakers, apparently. Like, so, I mean, it's, like, over the tiniest little thing, they're going to freak the fuck out over, especially if it's, like, maybe working with a Dem or not. I mean, even though, like, this is one where they're getting a layup with. Like, unironically, a layup, and they still won't take it. It's like, come on.
Concerns with the vice president of the United States, who's part of an administration that is aiding and abetting a genocide in Gaza. In fact, the best way to stop these disruptions altogether, aside from just disinviting hecklers, is to listen to your base and stop doing a genocide. But this is just one of the many humiliations the Biden administration has faced recently as a result of their ongoing support for genocide in Gaza. After a disastrous poll by the Arab American Institute showed his support with Arab Americans cratered due to his support for Israel, his team finally decided to go to Michigan to try to meet with Arab American leaders and maybe rebuild this bridge that he burned, but none of the people that they invited actually showed up, which is incredibly embarrassing. But I don't know what he expected. The mass murder of Gazans has not stopped. So why would he think that they'd even be open to dialogue with him when an obvious precondition to a meeting would be an end to the genocide in the first place? But I mean, the anger towards Biden goes beyond his continued support for Israel's genocide in Gaza because he's now making matters worse by instituting policy changes on his own volition that will literally starve Gazans to death by cutting off aid to UNRWA, an organization that the Biden administration itself has acknowledged is crucial for Gazans.
UNRWA.
Oh, it's basically, from my understanding, it's because, like, Israel has literally said that, like, yeah, there's, like, 2 or 3 of them that worked with Hamas once. And on baseless accusations, and, like, now they're potentially going to get critical funding cut from them because of just baseless accusations because, happen to be working with, like, maybe 1 or 2 of them, which, bullshit. that I highly doubt that. You know what? Even if there was, like, maybe 1 or 2 of them that happened to not be combatant at that point, getting aid or some shit because, they got shot or something, big fuck whoop. Like, oh no, one of them got, like, medical aid at one point or some shit, once upon a time, like, a few months back. Oh no! The fucking travesty!
Has done and continues to do invaluable work to address the humanitarian situation in Gaza.
Which is why we're going to cut a lot of their fucking funding.
Personal risk to UNRWA members. I believe it's over 100 UNRWA staff members have been killed doing this life-saving work, and we continue to not only support it, but we continue to commend them for the really heroic efforts that they make oftentimes while making the greatest sacrifice.
So that was State Department spokesman Matt Miller articulating the Biden administration's thoughts on UNRWA on January 17th. But fast forward to today, and that's somehow still their official position, seemingly, at least based on what Blinken is saying, despite the fact that the United States and other countries have suspended aid to UNRWA following allegations that a dozen staffers were involved in Hamas's October 7th attack. Now, the evidence...
Which honestly, okay, it's even worse, of a claim than I thought, which if that's the case, then that's even more bullshit. That's even, more fantasy level bullshit. I mean, what's next? One of them's hiding a fucking unicorn strapped with IEDs all over it under a basement somewhere that they're gonna, tunnel its way with its fucking unicorn horn all the way under Tel Aviv and just, blow it up or something. What's next?
Comes from Israel, and Secretary Blinken even admitted that the United States hasn't even conducted an actual investigation themselves before deciding to cut off aid to UNRWA. Times of Israel reports, quote, "We haven't had the ability to investigate the allegations ourselves, but they are highly, highly credible," Blinken said during a press conference.
Yeah, bullshit. They're highly, highly credible. Well, where do the claims come from? Israeli government. Oh, yeah, sure. 100% credible.
That the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees plays an indispensable role in providing assistance to civilians in the Gaza Strip, and that no one else can play the role that UNRWA has been playing, certainly not in the near term. Isn't that amazing? So, no, we haven't investigated the allegations ourselves, and yes, we do know that UNRWA's operation is crucial for the literal survival of Gazans, but we're going to cut off aid anyway. We're going to punish all Gazans for the alleged acts of 12 staffers out of an organization of 13,000 staffers in total.
And, and the allegations themselves are fucking ridiculous on the face of it. I mean, to me, it's just they could, frankly, feel like it'd just be dismissed outright because that's just how ridiculous they are. How in the fuck, I mean, where would where would the allegations be? Is it because maybe they have similar names? We found some Hamas guys who had pretty much identical names to these dudes. Thus, it's the same people. Because what the fuck? I mean, there's no goddamn fucking way. UN workers essentially, RWA workers are fucking collaborating with Hamas and partook in an attack. Give me a fucking break. That's just comically insane.
But the organization is very important. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, in the last video that you saw, Max Miller referenced the 100 UNRWA staffers who were killed. But that language there is also part of the problem with the Biden administration. These staffers didn't just die of natural causes or spontaneously combust. They were murdered by Israel. But the Biden administration is still refusing to acknowledge the war crimes being committed by Israel, despite ample evidence, and they're not responding to Israel's war crimes by cutting off arms or punishing them in any way. He just pretends like it's not happening and bypasses Congress to transfer even more weapons to them. And Joshua P. Hill pointed out this double standard via Twitter, writing, "Israel kills over 100 UN workers? Nothing. Israel alleges 12 UN workers are Hamas. The West funds aid to hundreds of thousands of starving people." It's just so ridiculous. And if this report about 12 UNRWA staffers is correct, you punish those staffers specifically, not the entire organization, because and
that's even given the benefit of the doubt. And it's and I highly again doubt that they're involved in the first place. I mean, and this is why people have especially a lot of Arab Americans have a lot of fucking animosity towards Biden's administration, because there's such a hypocritical fucking contradictory two-faced fucking weasel bullshit position on this whole issue, because behind everyone's backs they're just giving Israel more weapons, just giving them the green light on everything that they're fucking doing, and not giving one goddamn of a fuck. It's in on the public face when it comes to press conferences, we value these human rights workers and this and that and blah blah blah, and we commend their heroic efforts and blah blah blah. But anyway, here, let's give Israel more weapons to bomb the fuck out of those people. It's I mean, people see that shit. It's and this isn't just some sort of 1984ian level bullshit of just oh well, there's a little gray area here. It's pretty fucking blatant. It's been blatant. Frankly, it's been blatant for a while, but Now it just can't be, hidden under, some fucking, like, grade level shadow bullshit of just like, oh, well, there were some Hamas here and there, and come on. There was an occasional casualty, but, because it just ain't that. It never was, but, it's just like, it just ain't that anymore. Man, this shit just, like, getting our good old dose of this topic for today.
Doing so, you are effectively administering collective punishment to all Gazans. They don't deserve to suffer for the crimes of 12 staffers. And the result is going to be, I don't even want to say catastrophic, because there's not language to really articulate how bad this is going to be. Here's just a couple of gut-wrenching quotes from CNN about the mass famine already ensuing in Gaza. Quote, "They are weak now. They always have diarrhea. Their faces are yellow," El Jamara, whose family was displaced from northern Gaza, told CNN on January 9th. Quote, "My 17-year-old daughter tells me she feels dizziness. My husband is not eating." Her husband, by the way, has cancer. Quote, "We are dying slowly," reflected El Jamara, the mother in Rafah. "I think it's even better to die from the bombs. At least we will be martyrs. But now we are dying out of hunger and thirst." Mohammed Hamouda, a physical therapist displaced to Rafah, remembers the day his colleague, Odeh Al-Ha, was killed trying to get water for his family. Al-Ha was queuing at a water station in Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza when he and dozens of others were struck by Israeli bombardment, Hamouda said. "Unfortunately, many relatives and friends are still in the northern Gaza Strip suffering a lot," Hamouda, a father of 3, told CNN. "They eat grass and drink polluted water. Just stop."
What? Fucking what? I mean, I mean, like, this is what I mean when it comes to, like, you can't fucking hide the facts anymore. You just can't, hide behind the, oh, well, there's, like, this little, like, arbitrary gray area where, yeah, sometimes accidents happen and this and that. Like, it's to a point where you literally just can't fucking hide from it anymore. Because, like, this shit is just too fucking blatant. Like, it's just out there for the fucking world to see. And it's just utterly fucking appalling and disgusting that, like, any motherfucker at this point is still willing to justify this. Like, I mean, and just still be like, oh, well, they were terrorists anyway, so fuck them. Or, well, they're not really human, this and that. Well, Israel's right to justify to defend itself. It's like, it's like, there ain't no fucking excuse. It's like, I mean, yeah, like, because even if it feels like a casual conversation with someone, to be like, look, I mean, I don't know if you've heard all these other fucking articles, but this is, like, literally what's been going on. If you still think, they're justified in what they're doing, then, you're kind of a little TFG about it, because that's, like, it's gone too fucking far. It's not just simple as, like, oh, we're fighting back now or some shit. It's like, no, we're exterminating now.
For a moment and think about that. They are eating grass and drinking polluted water to survive. They know that drinking polluted water is going to make them sick, but they have no choice. It's that or die of thirst. It's just the level of suffering being inflicted on Gazans, with our tax dollars, mind you, is incomprehensible. We can't ever fathom that much pain and suffering unless we've lived it ourselves. It's a nightmare situation. And what little resources they had is now being cut off by the Biden administration. I never ever want to hear him talk about how cruel Donald Trump or any third world dictator is ever again. I don't ever want to hear the United States talk about human rights, because what we're doing here is monstrous. And to make matters worse, as Biden aids a genocide in Gaza, he's also at home working out a plan on immigration with Republicans to shut down the border and deny people their human right to apply for asylum after our foreign policy, by the way, and drug policy destroyed their countries. Biden is an absolute fucking monster, and what he's doing now is just, it's so unforgivable. But thankfully,
yeah,
even people like Bernie Sanders, who haven't been brave enough to call for a ceasefire, are demanding a reversal from the Biden administration with regard to the UNRWA policy. Bernie says, quote, "We cannot allow millions to suffer because of the actions of 12 people. The U.S. and other countries must restore funding to stave off this humanitarian catastrophe."
I just wish you would call for a fucking ceasefire, bro. Because even Jeff Merkley is, like, better on this than you.
Also, Rashida Tlaib echoed the same call, quote, to take concerning allegations as fact without any investigation, especially in light of the Israeli government's well-documented history of using torture and obtaining forced confessions as a means to suspend life-saving aid, demonstrates the emptiness of the Biden administration's claims to care about Palestinian lives, Tlaib told Politico in a statement. Now, AOC said the same thing on Twitter, writing, cutting off support to UNRWA, the primary source of humanitarian aid to 2 million plus Gazans, is unacceptable. Among an organization of 13,000 UN aid workers, risking the starvation of millions over grave allegations of 12 is indefensible. The U.S. should restore aid immediately. And good on these progressives for calling on Biden to do the bare minimum here. But I want to get back.
I just wish there was actually like more being done about it. That's kind of the problem here. I mean, not that, like, none of them are inherently, like, really at fault. I guess outside of Bernie a little bit, because, I mean, he could be calling for an overt ceasefire and, enjoying Jeff Merkley and a few others on this issue. But, I mean, still, I mean, like, they're, like, this type of fucking pressure needs to actually be, like, used as some form of momentum at this point. I mean, like, because there's already, at least a pretty decent handful of politicians that have been and still are, trying to, like, condemn this. But it's like, I mean, like, there needs to be more, like, and the energy, especially from the fucking voter bases there. And honestly, there just needs to be like a mass sit-in, on the Capitol or something, like outside of the White House, outside of just like, a protest at night or something like that. Like, there needs to be like a full-on fucking sit-in. And be like, no, we're setting up tents, we're setting up like little wooden, like huts and stuff. We're sitting here, we're staying here until you fucking do something. Fuck you. We're going to make your life annoying, until you do something. Like, I mean, shit. And do that for every fucking Capitol Hill, in the country, for fuck's sake, as far as I care. Like, like, I'd like to see one, like in Salem, fucking Olympia, and, like, fucking Sacramento, like, Albany, like, put them everywhere. It's like, because, I mean, having a mass, like, walkout or, like, a mass strike on this would certainly at least make more of a message. But politicians need to kind of help, influence the grassroots to that extent too. I mean, it's like, because the influence from the grassroots is kind of there already, but it could be harnessed and mass organized into something a little bit more productive too.
His standing with Arab Americans, because it's easy to see why they are so outraged by the Biden
and that, and also galvanize voters and the constituents too. So,
aside from the policy, things are now even worse, because they're now seeing viral videos of Muslims being disinvited from Get Out the Vote events. And they're not getting any explanations, so they just assume that they're being racially profiled and that Biden doesn't want their votes. I mean, the level of incompetence here by the Biden administration is genuinely jaw-dropping. Seeing that viral video is like adding insult to injury, literally. Biden couldn't handle this situation worse if he tried. And he doesn't need to try to placate those of us who are angry by wagging the finger at Netanyahu again while continuing to give him more weapons. He needs to cease the U.S.'s participation in genocide immediately. Anything short of that may cost him the election. And if it does, he'll only have himself to blame.
Yep. At the end of the day, he only has himself. And the DNC, too, to blame. Like, they only have themselves to blame on this fucking front. And the fact that they're, seem to be so, like, careless about it kind of shows that they don't really give a fuck whether Trump wins or not. They don't seem to be really worried whether that ends up being an outcome. Which, in a lot of ways, especially for the most marginalized, of us in the fucking country, that is concerning. By kind of a lot. Oh, look at this doggo. Look at him. Look at that little ball. Look at that cute little ball. Oh. Lighting the move, cute little pup. Oh, it's so cute. Just so cute. Burp. Yeah. So what other little thing on to it? What's going on for today? What other little things are going on? And after that, I'll probably see what Mama's up to. See what she's doing. Yeah. Doesn't seem like there's. But man, it must be like no, not the biggest fucking news week if there's not really much happening for today. Boo. I guess outside of the usual news and the usual dose of bullshit going on with the SSDD, same shit, different thing seems. And boo. And boo, I say to that. Boo, I say to that. At least the cop's being an adorable little boy. He's just constant entertainment because I can just kind of look at him and be just like strangely amused by him. Just looking like a cute little ball. Oh, this is so. It's a thought. See, I'm already mildly amused just at him just being in a little ball. Goof. Just a adorable little goof. Adorable little goof. Yeah, there doesn't really seem to be not much going on. Boo. Boo, I say. Well, since I do be the case, I'll probably at least, on my little off time, find a little something to look at for later night. And then, at least in a bit time, see what Mom was up to. See what she be doing. And all that good stuff. I haven't seen her in a minute. Ugh. So, need to make sure you gotta take all your mamas. Take care of the mamas. See what else up. So, at least be set for now. And I'll be back around for the next one. So